Hello, beloved. Um, there are two pieces of scripture that I want to bring out for you today because they have to do with sacrifice. And this is a week where we remember the sacrifice of the men and women of our armed forces who gave their lives for our country. And so I thought it was fitting to talk about sacrifice. And sacrifice is certainly deeply embedded in the Christian experience and in the Christian idea and in the Christian scripture. And so there are two pieces that I want to just pull out of two larger discussions. And the first one has to do with friendship. Have you ever had I hope that everybody has had at least one friend in their life that was just, they just had it, right? Whatever it is, they had it. Right? They knew the right things to say, the right things to wear, but they weren't overbearing about it. They just managed to go through life really easily and without guile, or they just really just had it. And that's Jesus for the disciples. And the last time that he's with them when he's alive, he'll be with them at least one more time together as a group, several times, but there's a final breakfast after his resurrection. But this is the last time that he has them before he dies. And he has this long conversation with them. And at the end of the conversation, he says that these things that I've spoken to you about, my joy remain in you. And may your joy be full. This is my commandment. If you're my friend, he says, do this, because this is a friend who knows the right thing to do. And he says, you love one another as I've loved you. Greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends. People in the armed forces have sacrificed for God, they've sacrificed for country, but above all, they've sacrificed for their friends, the people around them, the people who served with them. And that's what Jesus is talking about. And then there's another piece in the book of Mark. And this is a more comical kind of situation, because James and John, two of the disciples, are arguing and they're saying, hey, Jesus, can we sit next to you in heaven? Can we ride shotgun? Called it. And the other disciples are saying, what? And Jesus calls them over and says, stop it. Look, the world sees power as whoever can lord it over on somebody else. That's not us. It shall not be among you, he says in Mark 10. But whoever desires to become great among you shall be your servant. And whoever of you desires to be first will be slave of all. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. So the idea of sacrifice is it is central. It is the absolute dead center core of the Christian story, which is fitting when we think about Memorial Day and the sacrifice that was made. When I think of Memorial Day, I think of being on the mall of the Smithsonian one Memorial year and going to the Lincoln Memorial. I've been there several times, and every time I go there, I get up, walk up those steps, and see the statue of Lincoln sitting so solemnly and looking out. And just behind him is Arlington National Cemetery. And every time I go there, I cry because it's just so powerful. And I wonder what Lincoln would think of America today, where we are today. I think he'd be worried. The wisest and best president we have had so eloquently put into words the essence of Memorial Day, even though Memorial Day wasn't celebrated at that time. When he was present to commemorate a cemetery in Gettysburg. The Gettysburg Address is a great speech because it so eloquently expresses and directs the mind to the point that he's trying to make. That we are a nation founded not upon race or ethnicity or geography, but an idea. And that we must do more than just remember a sacrifice. He says that we are here because we are dedicated to the proposition that everyone is created equal. And we've come to dedicate a portion of this field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that the nation might live. And it is altogether fitting and proper that we do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate. We cannot consecrate. We cannot hollow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far more and above our poor power to add or detract. It is for us, the living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they fought here and have thus far fought so nobly to advance. It is rather for us to be dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall be given a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Christ's sacrifice is what under God means. And deserve has nothing to do with it. We do not deserve his sacrifice or their sacrifice. Deserve has nothing to do with it. What we, as Lincoln said, must highly resolve is to carry forward and make this a more perfect union. Go and do so in love. God bless.